Thanks.
Mhm.
You want to-
I don't think so. They got them bigger before I could put those in there.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I now call to order the special call meeting of the City of Holly Springs, Maryland Board of Aldermen. We'll first start out with a prayer. Alderwoman, First Lady.
May we bow our heads, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for another opportunity to spread and share the glory that you have in us. And God, we thank you for the business of this city, this great city, City of Holly Springs. God, we ask that you bless us, touch us, guide us to make the right decisions for our citizens in our great city. And we give your name the glory, praise, and honor. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Man.
Roll call of Alderman. please.
Alderman Fountain.
Present.
Alderman Jones, absent. Alderman Teal. Alderman Merriweather.
Present.
Alderman At-Large Ship, you have 2. Alderman present, 1 present telephonically.
All right, let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll take a moment for silence and peace. Also keep the Sellers family. I entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move that we adopt the special call meeting for the City of Holly Springs agenda for September 13th, 2024.
It's been moved by, you say?
Oh, a second. Yes.
It's been moved by Alderman Fountain, Alderwoman Fountain, second by Alderwoman Merriweather. We adopt the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. First on the agenda, we have a discussion, adoption of the Holly Springs Utility Department 2024 with 5 proposed budget. Mr. Jones and Ms. Mason, you can come forward at this time.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. I think I did email them. Ms. Harris had worked on the water, sewer, and gas, but she was out, so I had to gather those numbers. And the numbers that Alderman Teal had questions for, I actually pulled the stats for 2024 and got those numbers that you see for at least 9. I think it's for 9 months. That's on that gas, water, and sewer. And on the electric, I did go on and put in the 150,000 a month, but we'll keep in mind that we ought to be paying down those arrears as we get money available. And the other change I had made was in the administrative and salaries. I brought that up because I think when we were looking at 2024, we didn't have a general manager, so I increased that in the 2025 budget.
Increase what?
This,
The salary for
Mhm.
whom?
to include a general manager.
Okay,
See,
include a general-
we didn't have a general manager in, right.
What number is that? Is it in the electric on their budget page?
It's, on the, I think the second page. Second page. About four or five lines where it says that men in general salaries.
What number is that? On the side is 1 EL, is it 410,920? 21234? Another small.
I think it's 4092000. The first salary,
Okay, administration and general salaries.
right? I think last night I had it at like maybe 170. But then I realized that looking at that 2024, it was low because we didn't have the general manager's salary in it. So I increased it to at least what it was in 2023.
So, injuries and damages, and I'm looking at your notes out to the right. For 2025. You're projecting the lower number, but besides, you said there were more accidents than expected. What year was that, 2024?
Right.
So is that that's the amount of money that was spent on insurance? Well, what is that indicate?
Probably doctor bills and what else would they have put in there?
I thought the insurance guys told us that we get less accidents this year. That's what I thought.
From the ones that was reported to me, I would say it was a few more. I mean, they could have not been major, but like fender bumpers and stuff of that sort.
Because we had projected or reach for 175, then in 2024 we were 210. So we are projecting that it would go up.
Right. Okay.
So this right away increase, that was the money from, TPA. Yeah, is in there.
Not for 2025. I think we did an accrual in the 2024 numbers. We did a receivables, which decreased that amount by 430,000.
What was our overtime? What number is that for 2024? Thus far, no, we have 2 weeks. What number is that on here?
It's in the, it's throughout. It's like in the, part of it is probably in maintenance and supervision,
What number is-
engineering. 40, what is that?
402590.
Okay. And yeah, and some of it is in that, right-of-way amount also.
So there's no delineation between, because I would like to see the number of, the amount of overtime.
I think we had it on that payroll budget. I think it was on there when I submitted it. We submitted it prior to tonight. And I didn't bring a copy with me.
Because what do you have is projected for 2025?
I'm projecting that we lower it.
I'm just asking what specifics, because I can't tell by looking at this, what do we have allocated for overtime alone?
Well, we just, really what I did was the overall numbers that we allocated for the salaries. It's all in there. It wasn't broken out.
So it's included in the salary,
Yes.
overtime?
I mean, it's not, I think we we reduced it because it was like 600 and some $1,000. But you always, where you see an increase, that could be for hiring new people.
Right.
It's not just necessarily overtime. But of course, you're going to have some overtime with the workforce that we now have.
Since that was such a hot call, a sensitive spot, because 600 and some thousand, almost $700,000 for overtime. That's almost three quarters of $1 million for overtime. So I would like to know what amount is specified for that versus hiring particular jobs that we have, hiring them and trying to get folks in there versus just putting so much in overtime.
Well, it's not
You know,
just,
and I know that it's all in together,
right.
but I just wanted to know, how many spots do we have, or how many positions do we have? And then what are we projecting for overtime? What you said it's all together.
Right, and the only thing is, I think you all talked about the other night, is that we plan to give you a report monthly. And you'll see if we're coming down or going up. And since you said you would like to see it separate now, we'll make sure that the overtime is broken out as to how much has been spent each month in overtime.
Are you there?
Well, I know the overtime, it seems to be a high number, but we all call, we need something, and we need done, so a lot of times that falls within the work day, sometimes, and when we call, we expect for things to be done, then, especially when our utilities and the lights are off, or it costs me about a hole in the road, and they get ready to get up at 3 o'clock. We cannot, I know that we can't just not have overtime, because citizens call, we're the voice of the citizens when they want something done. We gotta get it done, and that requires overtime. And it's no need, I don't see a need to continue to hire people to stack on top of each other during the work day when you have qualified people that just may have to work alone. That's my thought on it. Right. I have a problem with how to keep the program and get qualified and educated on it. I don't have to say that.
But depending on, for me, I do understand that if we set that clear, and that's definitely support to have people to get the work done. That's just hard to manage when you have positions that need to be filled. That should be the focus to me, where I'm seeing it, and not just overtime, because you want, first of all, the people being able to give people that's, as I said before, doing two jobs for one, but that's for the general manager, want to discuss. But I do understand about making sure the job is done, and it's just, there's a right way to do it. I don't think running up overtime to $750,000 is a way to do it. But that's the way we're doing it, so.
But that's the way they've done it. But I think we've had some changes that have come about that may decrease it, with hiring HR and getting more people in that. To be
Right.
qualified.
Is the $430,000 for, right away in here?
Yeah, it's reflected in that balance where, where's that right away at? Without that $430,000, that amount would have been like 1,900,000 and some.
It's on the front page.
Second page.
Maybe it's the overhead line.
Right, yeah, and 402. I had some,
402593
yeah, I had some work done on my eyes.
on the second page.
Yeah, a lot of increases.
Right, so you see that amount is like 1,491,151. Before we took that 430 out, it would have been like 1,900,000. And so we did increase it because we still have right away being cut.
I see right away. What's the, total in this electricity budget? I mean, in this account currently? This is, we're still on electric. What is it? What's the total in this account? Thank you, sir. For electricity,
What you mean total?
how much money do we have on hand for, in the utility department? And is it somewhere on these pages?
It's not.
What's the total on that?
I'll have to bring that to you because I don't know the total right out.
Do you know the total on that?
I got a total that I projected in the budget that I came up with, yes.
I want to know, I was wanting to know how much, what accounts do we have in the utilities department? And how much is in there, just like for the city, when you're on the back, how much money was in the ARPA fund, with the ARPA funds, with the.
Oh,
It's
it's about, altogether between the two bank accounts, Holly Springs and the Unity Bank, not including the CDs, it's about 1.3 million today.
That's total, for all two accounts. And then a CD.
No, the CD is not included in that 1.3 million. That's the revenue account. I don't remember the names of them. I looked at it earlier today because I'm thinking about paying the TVA bill, and we got today we had like $1.3 million to pay the TVA bill, which I'm gonna go on and pay most likely $1 million on Monday and pay some more bills that we got. But that's what we can do right now. But right now, I remember it's a little over 1.3 million. But that's not all the money in the banks. That's just the ones that I keep up with to keep. That's where the funds are that we can pay bills out of. Because there are other funds, other bank accounts that sometimes they get money in them, sometimes they don't, sometimes it doesn't move. We got 13 bank accounts.
We have 306,000 in the Bank of Holly Springs, which is a revenue fund, and that's the account where automatic bank drafts are. It goes to that account. And of course, we have that CD there. That's 1,522,365. And then we got Holly. That's the Bank of Holly Springs. And in Unity Bank, and, okay, we have like the total, she's showing $1,447,811. But the CD for that account, for that bank account is like 1,000,003 something.
So just Bank of Holly Springs and Unity,
Mm-hmm.
or don't you? We're gonna have an account and both have a CD.
Both banks have CDs.
Yes, two CDs for each bank, then an account.
And those accounts that he's talking about that we had, I had asked our auditor, because it's like an unemployment account. Of course, we're supposed to keep the water, gas, and sewer accounts separate. But he had some other accounts out there that I didn't know why we had them, and he was the auditor. I had asked him, why were they there, and what balance should we keep in those accounts? And we can't get him to talk to us right now, so he hasn't told me anything about that. But when you hear about all of those 13 accounts, it's things like that that I can't think of them all on here, but it's like accounts that was perhaps set up that we're supposed to keep a certain amount in, but he hasn't told us what amount that should be yet. Oh yeah, that CD is $3,631. The one
In Unity,
in Unity.
okay, so for the electric department, when you finished with its budget, was it balanced on this paper? Because I really can't tell. I see the total income for 2023, total income for 2024.
So at first we had included the full amount to the city. And so it would have been like, and in our business, you need to have some extra money. You just don't balance it out to zero. So after you all granted us that temporary ease, it brought our ending balance to $1,200,200.
$1,190,237.02.
So for the electric department, that's how much will be.
That's how much we're projecting. And that is, and let me make myself clear this time, and I think I put it out in the side notes. It's based on if we can definitely get billing back on track. That's our number one thing that we need to do. And we got over, I put 200, but it's more than 200 service orders that needs to be filled. So if we could get all of that done, which we have a general manager now to work with the guys on getting those things done. So if we can get all of that done and get back on track, then that's what we're projecting that our ending balance should look like.
What I'm seeing throughout this report, throughout this budget report is, uh, everything is based upon, as you just said, Ms. Mason and Mr. Jones, I'm sure you probably echo that too. That's what the meters, the meter reading and the past due balances caught up in order for this to happen.
And this is not my decision to make, but with everything that has occurred with us this year, we need a meter system so bad. And GE is already threatening to shut us completely out if somebody don't talk to them about some things.
What's your take on that, Mr. Jones?
My take on that, Alderman, with GE, I've been in conversations with GE since I started. And yes, our contract with GE is going to be up. And the way it reads is that we have a certain amount of money, and I don't remember right now that we got to pay them because we are leasing that equipment from GE. And so there is going to be, they are going to expect payment, and I'm trying to build a relationship to negotiate with them when it comes time to implement our new meter reading system that we haven't decided on yet. But we have to figure out how to take down the old system, get GE their equipment if they want it, come to some kind of reasonable relationship as far as the cost is concerned to do all this and put the new system in place. That's what I'm negotiating right now.
When is the lease up?
We got about 8 months left. Yeah. It's when I don't remember the date right now, what it is, but it's, yeah, we got about 8 months left. And we gotta pick. I've also been talking to metering companies and trying to decide, not just me, but others, trying to decide which is the best way to go as far as a meter reading company is concerned. And today, the issue is that all the companies that produce meters, they have a supply chain shortage. Therefore, when you sign a contract with a meter reading company, you are going to be on the back burner because everyone who already has a contract, they're on the back burner getting meters. It's a supply chain. So there's one company in Washington State that can supply us with meters because they produce their own meters. However, the caveat with them is they're up for sale. And that's just a nightmare waiting to happen. As much as I am enthralled with their technology and what appears to be their customer service, you know as well as I do that once a company is sold, and this is a small LPC, local power company that we have here, and those companies have large lawyers, and I know I can, specify whatever you want in the contract, but they have the lawyers, and they'll just, spin it around, and we could get the short end of the stick. So that's where we are. But there's a miss, and it's going to cost probably $3.5 to get a new metering system. That's what the pricing looks like. And I got that in my capital budget.
I know we got a quote from Mr. Bowman about that, the Nighthawk.
Yeah, we got a quote for the Nighthawk. We have a quote for the Nighthawk, and in my discussions, I was in New Albany last week as far as Nighthawk is concerned. And it's not that it's a bad company, but they can't get meters. And also, it's a software issue. Their software doesn't integrate well with CSA software. And that's what I was told when I was in New Albany, and they're implementing Nighthawk right now. See, it's six on one hand, half a dozen on the other. But the idea is to try to get in with as much knowledge as you possibly can so we don't, uh, you know, wind up with the same situation we have with GE.
So what do you have to present tonight?
Okay, I'm, I have a capital budget for fiscal year 2025. I got a gas budget, I got a water budget, and I got an electric budget. Fortunately, I don't have a gas budget. I got a water budget, sewage budget, man, and an electric budget. I couldn't find the Excel file for the gas budget. And I got a capital budget, and in my capital budget,
These budgets here, like yours and Ms. Millicent, these are just yours and Millicent.
No, I passed them out to him at 1 o'clock. Well, whenever you all got yours. Then about 4:30, he said, I want to change the budget. Well, I was still working on the others.
Give them to Madam Clerk. She'll pass it out.
I got them separated. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So am I
One-
understanding that we've got
get
a
one
separate
group,
budget
they
being
get one
presented
group
tonight?
there. That's a group, that's one group. Okay, and that's another. Separated like that.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
So are we being handed a separate budget now?
Yes.
Yes. Alderman Steele, yes.
On the final day to be approved or being handed something at the final hour?
Yes.
Now,
All right, Mr. Jones.
when you look at this, okay, when you look at this, what I did, I took the 2024 budget and I added 3% for inflation to the electric budget from 2024. So these numbers you see here are, I put together the budget. I think you asked the last time for the full payment in lieu of taxes, which I heard that night was 231,000 and 150,000. So you have two columns here. When you go to the third page, you can see that for the first column, if you do the full payment in lieu of taxes, we're going to wind up with, as far as the utility department is concerned, a negative 740, $48,000. If we do 150,000 in payment in lieu of taxes for the year, we're going to wind up with a positive $165,000. I didn't bring my glasses with me. Yes. But my point is that what I had said last time is we're going to have to raise the rates in order to make any of these payment in lieu of taxes work. And I am working on that. I don't have that tonight, but we're going to have to raise the rates in order for any budget that comes out of the utility department. And I got a capital budget for some things that I think the utility department needs, and we can discuss that if you like. I got this saying, I put together a budget for the sewer department and the water department, but that was based on 2023, and I added 3% for each year between 2023. I didn't give you a copy of that yet, Alderman.
I think all of them included a certain percentage increase. Just, you just think that things will increase a little. It wasn't for any specific purpose. Uh, But everything I put in there, it increased a little bit. Anywhere from definitely on the uh, power spending, we increased it that probably because we know we're getting ready to get a 5.25% increase from TVA. So all of it has somewhat of an increase in it. The only thing that didn't have an increase, like I said, is we were hoping to bring down some of that overtime. And whether we bring down the overtime or feel the need to hire some more people or neither one. If we don't do either one, then if we bring down overtime, it'll increase the bottom line. If we hire more people, it's already kind of budgeted in there.
And this, is what department is this?
That's the electrical department. That's electric.
So I'm looking at the numbers.
Mhm.
I guess the question I have, why didn't you all work together? Because I'm seeing, even if you look at residential sales, the numbers, both of you all have different numbers. I know you did yours by 3%. What did you do yours by? You said work in progress budget. You have yours at 18, he has his at 17 for 2025. What formula did you use
I looked at
to
all
determine your increases?
I came up with that number by factoring in if we can get all of those service orders that we have out there. We're losing money because we have people waiting on service, people canceling service because, they can't get it. We have floods of lights requests. I wish I had brought the whole number that I got from Miss Bunny. I just picked out that one because that's where I think the majority of the money would be for people who's waiting for mobile homes and all of that to be wired up.
And what method can you have in place to get those work orders done? I mean, with the crew you have now and you backed up, but what is going to be done differently? That those would be, you can anticipate those are going into being done.
You asking me that?
Either one or both of you.
Mr. Jones?
Either one. Because if she's including it in the budget, then it has to be a way that you see that it can be done, because when we hear it from constituents, it has been months and months, and those things haven't been done. So if you anticipate putting it in the budget, then what are you gonna be doing differently to get those things and at that rate, the number you have aside done?
Personally, I just feel like that if we manage time a little bit better, we could get more done through the crews that we really already have. And Ms. Harris just straight out spelled out some things to Mr. Jones yesterday, some concerns that she had as to why we are falling so far behind on those service orders. I just think, time management would help a lot. And we issued some manuals that Ernest had brought back from a training. And in that manual, if they would just, you sometimes they might not even realize that some time or something could have been cut somewhere. But if they would just write down, and all it asks is that you write down what you did, how long it took, and stuff like that, And so I think somebody needs to enforce those things to make sure that time is being managed correctly. And I think we'll find that we might be able to do a little bit more if time is managed better.
And I do have a question. Outside companies, so what tasks are they fulfilling?
Like today, they were helping keep the power on. We are short as far as the line crews are concerned and service crews are concerned. So when Southern Electric is not doing things to help us improve the network, like when the the 4 poles got broken down at the school that day, Southern Electric was there to help us. So they're doing a lot as far as, they're doing quote unquote power outages. When we have power outages like today, I think there were approximately about 125 power outages over certain areas. Of course, they were all connected, but they're doing quite a bit, and they unfortunately are not doing enough, because the distribution network for the electricity needs to be upgraded, but before that happens, it needs to be assessed and things like that. And so, does that answer your question, Uncle Michelle?
Well, mostly on a day-to-day basis, what are they doing? Just mostly.
Oh, well, okay. They're setting. They're putting up more poles. They're doing electrical work, 3-phase work, single-phase work. Improving the network where it needs to be improved at. Changing out transformers, things of that nature.
Are they documenting all of that?
Yes. Oh yeah. I got all.
They're documenting all
Yeah.
of that.
Yes.
In the packet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all.
Because, I'm looking at these budgets and the projections and proposed monies and all revenues and all of that. And it seems like it is highly dependent on a significant improvement in the services in terms of reading those meters, those 90, 30, 60, 90-day accounts, those service orders being done. I said it before and I still say it now. You got to have a plan in terms of how you're going to get those things done. Because I don't feel quite comfortable approving this budget where, to me, it should have been a very, 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 very detailed plan connected to this budget on how this is supposed to get done, how these revenues are supposed to be raised and not just speculating.
Can I say one thing though? If we don't get a plan to get these service orders and stuff done, it's gonna work against us. And so it needs to be worked on. And I wasn't the one that was supposed to come up with the detailed plan of how to get it done. But that's the thing, that if we don't get that done, we get tons and tons of complaints to the Public Service Commission every day, tons of them. And so
Okay.
So can SEC not be, I think if I thank you correctly, Alderman Shipp, this is kind of the question you were asking. So can SEC not be fulfilling these service orders when they're not working on challenges? I mean, is that not why we have to get in, is to help with stuff that we're backed up on?
No, that's not why. No, that's not why SEC is not there to do routine work as far as going out, making sure the outside lights are working, are being installed, things of that nature, turn on services, things of that nature, cutting off, things of that nature. No, that's SEC is a contracting company, and that we pay quite a bit of money for their services as far as electrical services, repair of the network, putting in transformers, taking out transformers, putting up poles, maintenance on three-phase.
Part of the service orders, that it's when you get a new contract, when you get a new service, that is what that is, putting in a pole and putting up a transformer, is it not?
Not the transformers I'm talking about as far as SEC is concerned. No, these are these are, three-phase, single-phase, two-phase transformers that require significant electrical engineering knowledge as far as when they're being installed and turned up. And when I'm thinking that quote unquote could be the term service order, but a service order is more in line of going out, checking a meter, making sure that the meter, installing a meter. We don't use SEC to install meters. We do that.
So who's doing that for us?
Right, so how are we staying so far behind if we have a contracting service then to do the heavy stuff then?
Because we are short staffed as far as, instead of having 2 line crews, we got 1 line crew. And we got a line crew and a half, and we got 1 service crew, when we should have 3 line crews and 2 service crews. We're short staffed. And then
We got these folk in.
I'm thinking, we were looking at SEC, we were bringing them in, we were trying to get that project done through Elliott and Brick. We had so many poles that we had to have replaced to get that project off the road, off the ground. So we ended up contracting them in to help us replace all those poles, that letter that we got saying how many poles we had to replace to get this project up. I think SEC was brought in to do most of that work while our guys were still maintaining the electricity. We were still working on keeping the lights on and of that nature. But I'm thinking their main objective was to come in and replace those poles in the areas that we were talking about to get that project with Elliott and Brick off the ground. That's my understanding. Is that what they're doing?
that was the initial thought, but fast forward, but when we get a storm or when the power goes out, we don't have enough people to, to do the work. So Mr. Humphreys, he calls me. He says, is it all right if I use SEC to get the power back on? And I say, yes, Mr. Humphreys, it is all right to use SEC to get the power back on.
But,
Okay, so what is our plan
This what I just asked.
this year to, I mean, if we're short-handed, why have we not seen any applications? I mean, are we trying to hire people? I mean, because we got to have a plan in order to get out of the rut.
We have to have an assessment. We don't know how many people are still here. We don't know how many have already left. We don't know who quit, I don't know. I know we did some hiring. Then we stopped some hiring because of the instability of the money. So I'm just not sure where we are. I see some people I thought were still working. They're not working anymore, but nothing has come across this desk saying that they're no longer employed. So I'm just really not sure who we have out there and who we don't.
and then ask about how many people are actually at work. You look at that absenteeism slip, be quite a few people out.
So that's what I've been addressing with the general manager as far as
Right.
auditors and absentees, and also we also get a good HR person in place. Some of those things maybe will be addressed.
Yeah,
Okay.
as far as the plan.
Okay, let's just take this storm. When I arrived at the utility department today, I saw two guys and they were just, they were leaving when I got there and they tell, man, I've been working all night because of the rain. And these weren't guys that were on call. They went out at 1:30 in the morning and they were back at work this morning at 7:30, 8 o'clock, getting ready to go out again because it's raining. And these guys that they're doing this now. I'm not saying that we don't have some folks that quote unquote abuse overtime or may not work when they should, but we got a whole lot of people that's working extremely hard, pulling extreme hours, doing the job that they need to do, and fortunately, it's a good thing that they're doing it. Now, what is the plan? Okay, what is the plan? The plan is the meter reading and the billing, and we're going to have the billing. The billing, your bills are going to be on time before Christmas. I got a meter reading consultant, a company that's reading the meters. I tried to hire some more people to read meters, but we got folks out reading meters and they're reading them faster now than they were. Unfortunately, these things take time. The meter readers have to learn the routes before they can be independent. Once they become independent, we'll have twice as many people reading meters, and that's what, that's that plan. The other plan is we need to cut the right of way. We have to cut the right of way. And just today, last night, all the power outages, the blinking off and on, is because the weight on the trees from the water. And the trees are doing this here. And we got one right-of-way person cutting right-of-way now, and he's cutting right-of-way the best he can, but it is not enough. Our right-of-way has been neglected for so long that we're in this position. We got to cut the right-of-way. The third thing is, I didn't start it today because of the storm, but on Monday, we're going after the 30, 60, 90-day past due. And we're going to collect that revenue, 30, 60, 90 days past due, by dedicating a man that is going to cutting off to somebody that's going to be turning back on. You cut off, when they pay the bill, you turn it right back on. Now, it's going to take time to generate this revenue. Now,
Right. It's gonna be
My-
weather.
now, the
Now, so Go ahead, I'm so
I
sorry.
mean,
No, go ahead. I'm
the
listening.
budget, the budget that I come up with, yeah, it looks, but this is, it looks, it's a budget on a hope and a prayer because I don't have the audit reports to tell you for certain where we stand. I have asked for that information. I have not gotten it. If I had the 2021 audit report, I could do much better.
Well,
I don't have it. I've
I
asked
don't
for
have
it.
it. But I don't have it.
No, no, no.
but I understand, I'm an audit girl, so I understand what you mean by in terms of meeting the audit. However, for these, knowing where the issues are and creating a comprehensive plan to address these issues, even in terms of the 30, 60, 90-day account, looking specifically at who those people are. And then, of course, the plan for what day to cut them off, what day to turn them on, a specific plan, even for the meter readers. The other guys or whomever we can hire to get them to help us or help you with speeding up that process, because creating a budget on a hope and a plan is just not comfortable for me without a plan,
Okay, I mean,
or hope and a prayer without a plan.
I got a plan for cutting folks off, for cutting them off. We got a truck in place, and the guy gonna start cutting off on Monday. He gonna cut off how many people? We got 93 people that are 90 days past due. And I talked to Mr. Humphrey yesterday, and I said, how many guys can he cut? How many people can he cut off a day? Mr. Humphrey said, we're gonna have to see. I said, will it be 10? Will it be 20? Will it be 30? I need to know how many people, because I'm gonna give him a number to tell him how many, and this is the minimum that I want cut off. Then I got a guy that's gonna be dedicated to turning on in the beginning. And if I got to put 2 more guys on it to have them cut off the number of people that need to get cut off, I'll do that. But that's the plan right now.
And then the 430 for the right,
Oh.
where are we in the process of that
The
application?
$435,000 that is withheld at TVA, I have filled out the application. TVA has the application. The contractor has to be put in the maximum system for Memphis, and it is a process of paperwork. I got all the paperwork. You've got like 6 or 7. No, they ain't give me no timeline. They got 6 or 7 steps that it's got to go through. The first step is the contractor has to enter in the information, and I've contacted Mr. Phillips, told him what he needs to do, but he needs to do it with Memphis. I haven't talked to him today. I don't know if he did it or not.
September, almost October.
Mhm.
They're gonna cut, they need to,
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Alderwoman Merriweather, because I got 3 right-of-way contractors that are ready to go. They're ready to cut sky to ground, sun up to sundown. And I put it on my capital budget. I got $1.1 million. We spent $600,000 so far with CMM bush hogging. I got $125,000 for the other 4 to start with. The idea is to start cutting the right of way, and once folks see that we're cutting the right of way, I am looking for the state of Mississippi and TVA to come with some funds to help us cut this right of way, because we don't have the $10 to $12 million that it's going to cost initially to get this right of way cut. We don't have it. We show them that we can cut it. That's why I asked for the $500,000 from the ARPA money, so we can show them that we're cutting the right of way, and then I can make an argument that I've been making with them that we need help cutting this right of way. What are you going to do? What I've been told is that we want to help you. Nobody's mentioned any money yet. because we got to show them that we're going to do this. But that's the plan in my mind, crack of it. I don't have, when people get paid, they put the overtime into the time system where they put their time in at. There is no method in place to follow up and verify the time that the people worked. And I have been trying to get access to DSM, the clock, that, so that I can see, figure out, okay, because when you're out on call, you don't come back to the building. And then you call in the CRC. So I can check that. But as far as the overtime is when people do what they're supposed to do, the work orders and everything, all this has to be put in place. It wasn't in place, and it's not going to be in place until I sit down and start writing what needs to be happen, specifically because people are not used to doing writing things down like Miss Annie said and doing what needs to be done, and they're not being made to do it. And I'm not saying that that's going to solve the problem. We got a lot of overtime also because we short staffed. Those people are working a lot of overtime. Yeah. So that's the plan.
Okay, so, for this electric budget, there are some close similarities. Budget, Ms. Mason Sassoon, Mr. Jones, 3%.
Yeah, I did 3% as a close to inflation from 2024 to 2025. All the numbers you see were increased by 3% on the electric side.
Everything but the.
Well,
Everything but the revenue. And I hear what you're saying in terms of the rate increases and all that. But, did you make all the necessary cuts that you could have made?
well, now see, this is where my engineering side comes in, Miss Dr. Merriweather. I put a capital budget together for things that we need to make this work. We got needs now. We got needs. I got a capital budget here with right away. I got administration here, security system. I got training in here for personnel, for administrative personnel, electrical engineer personnel, uh, service line, needs for the water department, needs for the sewage department, needs for the gas department, equipment that we need to do the work. And this capital budget, I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on. This comes to uh, 200 $2,152,077. That's the capital budget that I'm proposing for 2025. And okay, how am I going to get the money to the meter reading is going to be on time, and we're going to raise the rates. That's how it's going to be. And a budget is what we the service orders is a matter of the supervisors and the foreman doing their job.
So how much money is dangling out there in the service order?
She said,
I said, looking at what I put on here, if you take like 200, that's like 200 different customers that's waiting on different services. And I think I added like maybe right at $1 million that we could possibly get in on that. And that's not all,
What's out there now?
right.
That would be that figure.
It would probably come close, might be more than that,
It's
based on what the usage is.
it's probably more because we have an issue with new service. And I'll just talk about that for a minute. New service, where people are living at a residence or whatever it is, a trailer, whatever, and the people who live there,
Yeah.
I didn't believe this was gonna last this long, so I've got to pray for you. If y'all get ready to close or something, you can attempt to call me back.
Well,
We'll lose corn without him.
we can't even continue without you. So,
Oh, well, I mean,
He
I
will.
didn't expect a fresh
Yeah,
budget.
that's- yes, well, because what we're talking about primarily is work stuff. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
HSUD work stuff. About plans and all that, we just need to know, so I don't have any further questions about this budget. I see the one that Mr. Jones has presented. This is electricity only.
yeah, I got one for gas and water right here.
They're very similar in number, Alderman Teal. The only thing was Ms. Mason did, I don't know if it's scale plot or what, but to do her projections for 2025. And then Mr. Jones just did a clear 3%.
Capital budget.
But if you cap the budget over there, what he want, Stephanie Paul, we can, we bring.
I mean, okay. Full disclosure, I included a 3% raise at the utility department. As far as in the budget, I included a 3% raise.
That's gonna ask about that. In salaries,
Yes. Overall, across the board. It's a budget.
My thing with that is, you were the one, Mr. Jones said last night that TCA tells us we cannot make any pilot payments, which I understand the reasoning behind that. And the shape that we're in, and to ask for raises at the same point is a little head scratching to me. Not to say they don't deserve it, because I know they do,
right,
but
So does everybody.
that's right, and we've given the utility department, you come
More
up with
raises than
more raises
everybody.
than everybody.
Everybody had a wish list that wanted salary increases in their departments and the department heads, so. I know some, I understand, I agree with you, we're gonna give 3%, give it across the board.
That's
To everybody, don't handpick them out to give them.
That's
to them.
right.
I do agree with that. But if we're not gonna give it to all departments, we can't just give it to the utilities department.
I don't even see what a utility department has a leg to stand on with the 3% rate. You sitting here telling me about these
It's
services,
crucial in our deficits
yeah,
and all this.
and all this. And I'm still stuck on this budget as a prayer and a something you said. I can quote exactly what you
And
said.
then the rate increase still has to be board approved. You know, we anticipate a rate increase, but it still has to pass the board's approval. So that is another hurdle, you know, may
Right,
pass,
yeah.
may not pass.
Yeah. Right now, we trying to get arrearages paid,
Right.
bills paid at the utility department. We trying to get those vendors those checks that's in the drawers paid. We gotta get vendors paid. We gotta get all of that. The arrearages paid, you $3 million behind on the city payment.
And we
So-
just purchased trucks.
Yeah,
And
we
we
just-
still need bucket trucks and other, items that need to complete the task of getting their jobs done. Especially some of these, new projects and stuff they have going on. I've talked to several that, and they need equipment
Mm-hmm.
and they need safety equipment.
Yeah.
And, you know, also, we got those things, especially safety has to be
Mhm.
first before anything.
Training, yeah.
And training as well.
Yep.
I just hate that you all didn't work together on these budgets. This is,
I completely agree.
Wow.
We went over this budget yesterday.
But I'm
And
saying
I
he
gave-
presented a different one and you presented.
I'm
a
just
different-
saying, we went over it yesterday. He didn't tell me anything about he was gonna do a different budget today. He came to me
I
at
thought y'all
4.
were meeting today to
We-
go
we
over
came-
these items.
We had,
So they talked to-
we talked about the items. We had already, talked about every one of those items. And today, I was trying to redo all of those other budgets that they had, that was questioned about. And at 4 o'clock, he comes to me and he said, I'm going to present another budget. I couldn't do anything about that at 4 o'clock. But the only thing I can say is that, as Jerica said, if we're missing the point on our budgets, we're gonna be presenting a report every month. And budgets can be amended.
Before we lose corn.
And I'm fully understanding budgets can be amended, and just like I've had to explain to some of the other, city employees, I would rather make additions than cuts. I don't wanna over budget and, promise this and we don't have the money or run out of money before the year is up. So if there's an increase and the budget is stable, no problem with making additions at that point. But I don't wanna put in something that is, unrealistic and before this year is up, we have to make cuts. I'd rather add than cuts.
And the big rocks that I was looking at is our salaries, freezing them in terms, I mean, whatever comes in, we got so much we gotta get done. So is that reflected in your budget, Ms. Mason?
No, I
No
didn't
salary increase?
No salary
The
increases.
other one that I had a question about was overtime, okay? And I see that a little bit was projected in that, but you said that it is the salary plus overtime.
Right.
So I can't make a clear distinction with that, but, sort of, even with the number that you gave. Those were the, what is, those were the
Right.
big areas that I wanted to look at.
We would hope that there's I know you don't like to hear this, but I still say that there can be a plan where, some of the overtime should be eliminated.
Right.
And,
Because it was not made, we're not ready.
and you know, we got an in-house right away crew.
Actually, it has to go. We need to get a vote pretty, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, any more discussion before? Budget.
I don't have any more discussion. But I feel like we better get on track and start putting their, money into the city's budget, and we can get everybody. Everybody else gonna raise too. Street, the recreation, grass cut, everybody. City clerk, people downstairs, so if you all get y'all money in, everybody can get a raise. I don't think it's fair to put a 3% in for them and nobody else gets anything because of the deficit that's out there.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So what I'm talking about, that's all the discussion that
Yeah, motion to adopt Holly Springs Utility Department 2024-25 proposed budget.
So at this time, it seems that Ms. Mason's budget that has been presented is the most feasible that it does not include,
Salary increase.
salary increases, and then the cap or whatever for the overtime or looking at that versus hiring employees is, not substantial, but it's, within the means. So I'm gonna make a motion to adopt the, budget for the electric department, the electric budget for 2025, that was presented by Ms. Mason. I don't know if it's exhibit one, but
My question for that, if you word it that way, are you doing
Or
Right, are you doing
the whole
four different?
utility department, or are you just saying
I
electric?
just said electric, because that's the only one we've looked at, but if you don't make it all of,
Yeah, the whole department.
okay, so
Yeah, that was just. Your motion.
are you, did you do salary increases in yours? For sewer and gas?
he did all of
I did all across the board, yes, ma'am, all across the board. the entire,
Okay, so I'm gonna make the motion then, that we I looked at it. All right, so I'll make the motion that we accept that we approve the proposed budget that Ms. Mason has presented for the Holly Springs Utility Department. Because, I shouldn't say anymore, just say that, right? All right. Leave it alone.
I'll say,
Moved by Alderman Merriweather, Alderwoman Merriweather, and second by Alderwoman Fountain. We accept the adoption of the Holly Springs Utility 2024-25 proposed budget proposed by our accountant. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion
Chair.
carries.
On the roll call.
One, two,
You want to go?
Do you have anything else that's done?
My motion is to adjourn.
I'll say,
Right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?